Not 4chan, I moved to the other one.
What, Reddit?
8chan.
Or 8chan?
8chan.
Oh,
And the
Cripple Chan.
Exodus. You remember the Exodus?
Yeah, I remember.
Hot Wheel.
There was
I don't
another
know.
one, 4chan.net. I used to go there. I wonder if
Yeah,
it
I
still
don't know about that
exists.
one.
Holy shit.
Those the image boards are full of INTPs, man.
Yeah, dude. And
All those,
INTJs.
yeah, all those who hate humanity and shit just gather around in there and pick someone to ruin his life or some shit. I don't know. For the lulz, right?
Oh, growing up on the internet.
So you're all less than 20?
Raised by a pack of wolves.
No.
Well,
Nope.
growing up on the internet is for people that are at least less than 22.
Yeah, I had dial-up first. Actually, we didn't have internet when I was a kid. We had to use the telephone.
Why do you mean stop pointing out facts? I'm sorry. It's just I have to. I don't even mean to do it.
Excuse me, guys. This is a fact. Oh wait, it's not.
Yeah.
I get annoyed when people just say things that doesn't really make sense.
Like what?
I mean, listen, I didn't
like when
have
you're
the
over
internet
30
until I was
and you're
like
saying growing up with internet
8.
because you didn't really grow up with internet if you're over a
Yeah,
certain age.
No,
but
you're technically right. I mean, we were introduced with a personal computer in my house, but by the time I was 5 or so, we had one, and then it was still dial-up back then, but like we're like right on the edge where by the time we were like preteens, we had like broadband internet and we're able to spend all of our miserable time there. However, we're not born with iPads in our hands like the next generation was.
Nobody said that I am or Spacey above 30, but you based your assumption on that.
I think I'm the oldest one here.
Yeah, I think so too. Except for Daddy Eric.
Well, I'll be 38 in June.
That's not the point. The point is, she said she get annoyed when someone says something that doesn't make sense, and her argument for that.
if you're
your
16,
argument for that, your argument for that is that if I'm above 30, I couldn't have grown up using the internet. But I never said that I was above 30.
No, but Carolyn said that she had internet when she was 16.
Yes, but you said what you said before. Caroline typed that.
I had it when I was around 14.
The only point I was trying to make is when she said now that she grew up with internet from 16. That's not growing up with internet.
Oh.
For me, when I meant growing up with internet is the people that are growing up today with internet from the age of 2, 3 with an iPad in their hand from like growing up with internet. That's growing up with internet. Not from being 16 having internet. That's not growing up with internet.
Coming of age.
All right. So, Susanna said she had internet since she was 12, and she is
22 this year.
31, right?
Yeah.
So, which means internet was available in her country for 11 years, right? Oh, 21 years. So if you have 25 years or 26 years, then technically you could have had internet since you were 5. That would imply that you would have been able to grow up on the internet. Why no? Why no? Come on, Blanky.
Why are we? Where's? How?
I give a shit about the big internet boom. You just do the math and you see that it's possible.
It is possible, but I'm talking about the growing up. Well, what I meant
He means
is
not transitioning into the new.
It's the technology, not just growing up with internet, but the technology of growing up with internet, which is not the one that you had 25 years ago, but the one you've had the last maybe 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, when I was in school, I still had to go to the actual fucking library to get information. I haven't been to the library in a long time.
People do that still.
I know.
Yeah, but fuck libraries when you can just steal ebooks.
Yeah, but you can't read them on the computer, can you?
Sure you can.
No, you just open it and then you're like, oh, let me see what's happening here. Let me browse this. Let me check this. You know.
Right now, it's fucking hopeless trying to do shit.
Yeah, I remember going to the library, getting literary criticism to do my English papers, having to make photocopies, having to bring quarters with me to make photocopies.
I remember going to the library to read books about fish for no apparent reason.
What kind of fish?
I don't know, like cool ass fish with like crazy colors and shit, or like ones from the bottom of the ocean that you never would have known existed if you didn't read about it.
Crazy. That was the old version of the weird places of YouTube you end up in.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. You just physically went and found it. That's the difference.
And I was like, I want to be a marine biologist so I can study cool ass fish and go into the deep sea. And then when I was older, I realized that being a spaceman would be cooler. And when I say older, I mean about 5 years ago. So I didn't want to be a spaceman until I was an adult.
Were you an adult since 5?
Actually, I'm still not an adult.
No one is ever an adult. Is fake misnomer.
INTP
man-child status.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I thought that at some point I'm going to become like an adult or something.
Yeah.
Then I just that your toys just get a little bit more expensive and bigger in size. You're always the same.
Yeah. See, Elsie has always been an adult. We were like, when am I going to be an adult? I hope it happens someday.
I was born an adult too.
Elsie was born with a beard and a glass of whiskey.
And a machete. I do feel different than I felt before. But I can only parse out 2 phases of my life. The before phase and the after phase.
Well, I was born an adult. I didn't want to be around children because they weren't interested in the same things I was interested in. I craved the acceptance of adults. I surrounded myself with them. And I was like that till probably like around 15 or 16, and then when I started self-medicating, be comfortable around people and not have to worry about talking about, going to eat for lunch next, or what cool TV show is going to come on tomorrow instead of something interesting. And then I went through not a childish stage, but not even a rebellious stage. I guess I was just making up for lost time. But now I'm just, I don't even know what I am now. I'm numb.
Who's saying I am INTJ? Whose ass do I have to beat? All right. Here's what happened. There were like 5 different Thor tests, and the first 2 said I was an INTP, and then the third one said I was an INTJ, and then another one said I was like an extroverted intuitive. And then the last one measured each function individually and said my FI was about as high as my TI. So I guess it kind of implied that I could be an INFP.
I got my TE almost as high as my TI.
No, I don't even... It said like I was.
But the test doesn't really measure.
No, it's a bullshit test, but it effectively said my judging and perceiving were effectively equal, and also said my introverted, extroverted were equal as well. But that I'm solidly some kind of NT.
That's the same as all of my tests. Is always sad.
It's like it doesn't even.
It's always sad.
Eric Thor can take his website and shove it up his ass, for all I care.
Yeah. Same as
and
me.
his book too.
Who are you talking about?
Eric Thor, that smug bastard who thinks he knows so much.
Yeah, but he's just a very sensitive person. You can tell that in every single video he makes. He's so sensitive.
He's
I wouldn't
INFJ.
know.
He's INFJ.
But I hope
think
he's
he's
sensitive so
actually
that if he sees
An
this raw footage,
ENFP.
that I make him cry.
I think he wants to be an INFJ because he wants to be like young, but I think it's actually an ENFP.
He said,
Yeah, because I
said, "Who
like him
sounds
so
like a
much, and I
TE
usually
user?"
get along with every person I know that's gotten ENFP on every test, and that I feel like, yeah, they're ENFPs. So that's just my perception of him. I like him very much. He's
got a
I
calming,
don't actually know him.
calming voice. Very calming voice.
yeah.
I mean, I get along with NFPs, to be honest.
I like ENFP so much. ENFP, they're my favorite kind of person.
I like INFPs, at least. So I assume ENFPs are also cool.
Yo, how do you know Eric Thor?
Yeah. NFPs are pretty much the bomb. So are STPs.
What about ESTPs?
Yeah, but if I get around an ESTP, it just gets way too crazy. But ENFPs can also be very attachment seeking and needy. Which can be hard for somebody like me.